Hey there, this is meteorologist Aaron Colby. We're taking a look at what to expect over the next couple days. We're mainly going to be looking at the heat that's continuing to go on, and of course a quick look at what's going on out in the tropics. And we're going to first start with the heat for today. As you can see here, we do have heat alerts for the rest of today. These continue through 7 p.m. This is going to be a heat advisory for our coastal counties along with Pearl River County, and that's going to be because of the heat index values approaching or slightly going above 110 degrees, air temperature around 100 degrees. Yesterday we broke a record at the Gulfport Airport with a temperature of 100 degrees. The previous record was 99 degrees set back in 1962. Take a look at temperatures across the area right now just after 1 o'clock, and we're seeing those very hot upper 90s, 96 at the Gulfport Airport right now. Further inland, Wiggins at 90 degrees. We're also seeing several areas along the coast in those upper 90s. Bay St. Louis at 96, Moss Point also at 96 degrees, and those feels like temperatures or the heat index values are going to be extremely hot. If you take a look across the area, Picayune at 109 degrees, Gulfport Airport at 109 as well, Gaucher at 109, Pascagoula 111 at the moment. So we do have a lot of areas at or above that 110 degree range where we did see those heat index values continuing. Once again, the heat advisory will continue until 7 p.m. tonight. And take a look at the forecast for today. We are seeing a high of right around 100 degrees. We could be tying or breaking records across the area once again today. And very hot, very dry. Once again, that heat index near or slightly above 110 degrees in some areas. And this heat's going to stick with us for the next couple of days. Tomorrow, a high of 100 degrees as well. As we go into the weekend, a relative cool down will be in the upper 90s. And as we head into next week, a very slow moving front approaches from the north, and we will be seeing those temperatures very slowly creep down into those mid 90s. Although the rain chances do stay very low, the front won't completely pass us, so we won't see cooler temperatures, and we probably won't see a lot of rain. We could see a little bit more cloud cover, however, those temperatures still sticking in those mids to upper 90s. Now let's take a quick look at what's going on out in the tropics. We're keeping a very close eye on a tropical wave that is moving across the Atlantic. As you can see here in Tropical Storm Debbie now moving across the Carolinas to the north and to the east of Debbie's center. We're still tracking a lot of tornadoes as well as the potential for very heavy rainfall. Thankfully, here in South Mississippi, there are no imminent threats from the tropics. The only thing in our area is going to be those extremely hot temperatures. Take a look down. You have an orange area there in the Caribbean. That's going to be the next tropical wave as it moves across the Caribbean, marked there by the orange X. This is a medium chance of developing within the next 7 days. No development expected within the next 2 to 5 days. This is much more further out, about 5 to 7 days from now is when this is expected to begin developing. Quick zoom in on Tropical Storm Debbie, still a tropical storm as of the most recent update from the National Hurricane Center. And like we talked about, mainly to the north and to the east of Debbie Center is where we're continuing to see severe weather as well as the potential for very heavy rainfall. Debbie will continue to move very quickly to the north over the next couple of days. Take a look at these. These are the tropical waves that are currently moving across the Atlantic, and you can see some of those darker red and black colors, those very cold cloud tops. Those are very tall clouds that typically indicate a lot of thunderstorm activity. You can see that one right in the middle of the screen is the one that we are tracking to potentially develop as it moves into the Caribbean towards about midway into next week. Now let's take a look at what we're expecting. This is a model that takes into account atmospheric spin. This is also going to be measuring about how much energy there is to develop these tropical waves. And you can see here, there in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you're going to be seeing this tropical wave begin to develop. And as it moves into the Caribbean, it does become a lot more organized there. You can see some of those more orange and reddish colors showing up, indicating that this tropical wave could become more organized over the next 5 to 7 days as it moves into that highlighted area that the National Hurricane Center has put out. So we're going to keep a very close eye on this tropical wave, and of course as we head into the later parts of August and September, this is typically when we do see the tropical activity begin to ramp up. we're going to be keeping a very close eye on many of these tropical waves as they continue to move off the coast of Africa. Many of these could become tropical cyclones. They could become tropical storms or hurricanes. Now, thankfully, no immediate threats to the South Mississippi area or the Gulf Coast at all. Most of these are out in the Caribbean at the moment, and we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on them as they continue to move mainly to the west or to the north. Once again, there are no imminent threats to South Mississippi. That's the good news for now. For now, we're just dealing with these very hot temperatures. Let's take a look. We've already had 4 storms. We've had 2 tropical storms, Alberto and Chris. Beryl becoming the earliest Category 5 in recorded history, and of course Debbie did become a Category 1 before making landfall in Florida, making a second landfall earlier today as a tropical storm there in South Carolina. Next name on the list would be Ernesto, and then Francine right after that. Take a look at the 7-day forecast. Here in South Mississippi, we're going to be staying very hot and very dry over the next several days. Very hot temperatures both today and tomorrow, a high around 100 degrees, a relative cool down as we head into next week with temperatures in the upper to mid 90s. And those morning temperatures still staying fairly comfortable. We could make it back into those mids to upper 70s across the area during the early morning hours.